Politics, commentary, entertainment, sports, news, and opinion now. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, folks, we're back. It's Malzberg panel time, and joining us on the panel, radio host and author of The Big Black Lie, Kevin Jackson, and Democratic strategist and writer Bridget Todd. Welcome to both of you. Today, the House Rules Committee voted along party lines to approve of the Boehner lawsuit, if you will, against Barack Obama. They have one more vote to take, and then eventually, before they go to recess, it will be brought to the floor of the House where it will pass. Let me ask you, Bridget, your reaction to the results today. No surprise, but going forward, this suit is moving along.
You know, I think it'll be really interesting to see how far this progresses. Personally, I think at a time like this, we should be focusing on, there certainly is a lot to be focused on for the American people. I wonder if this is the best, way to spend our resources and our time. But I'm just really interested to see sort of how this thing progresses.
Well, Kevin, the House has passed over 300 bills that have not been taken up by the Senate. A lot of them related to employment and the economy. So I guess they've done their job. Harry Reid won't do his. And now they're going to go after the president for abusing his.
Well, I think it's going to, I agree with Bridget that I'd like to see what happens, but I think the Senate won't let this go anywhere. But the fact of the matter is, I'm glad the Republicans are showing some resolve in curtailing a president who's completely out of control. I think they should be drug testing this guy. I can't
disagree with that more. And it just doesn't kind of jibe with the facts of the situation. The fact of the matter is, this idea of Obama as this, president with executive power run amok is just not accurate. If you look at the facts and look at the number, the facts remain that he's actually used less executive orders than far less than any other modern president. This idea that he's, executive power run amok is just
I don't know
not accurate.
I don't know what facts you're talking about. This he's reckless. And somebody's got to stop him, and I think that this is long overdue. I'll put it to you this way. If Barack Obama were a Republican president, and particularly a white president, there's no question in my mind this would have been done 2, 3, maybe even 4 years ago.
Kevin, let me ask you, how many executive orders has Barack Obama done in his presidency?
All right, but here's the thing, Bridget. Let me interject. It's not about a scorecard on executive orders. It's not about that at all. What it's about is selective enforcement of laws and changing laws that have been passed. His own Affordable Care Act, he's changed many, many times, but because he felt like changing it. You can't change existing law with the stroke of a pen. He's not a dictator or a king, and he's told ICE to stand down on certain aspects of immigration law. He relaxed the work provision of welfare reform law that was passed under Clinton. You can't change standing law without Congress, and that's what he's done that's different than other presidents. And that's why Jonathan Turley says he's what the founders feared most, even though he's voted for Obama.
Well, I just think it's interesting that if you talk to many prominent Republicans, a lot of them agree that this impeachment nonsense is just that, nonsense.
Nobody said impeachment. No, but wait. Nobody said impeachment. You just said it. This is a lawsuit.
I feel that is where the conversation is heading, and I just want to
the conversation's already been discussed about impeachment. What they're talking about is curtailing a president, and Steve just gave example after example, and there are many others where Barack Obama says, I don't care what's going on in that branch of government. I'm going to supersede them. He's said to the Republicans, so sue me. So they're doing it.
I think it's very interesting that when we talked about immigration reform a couple of weeks ago, the conversation was, why is Obama waiting for Congress to act? Then he does this, and everyone says, oh, it's power run amok. So which is it? Do you want him to act, or do you want him not to act?
No. You know what I'd like to see Obama do on immigration reform is I'd like to see him enforce the existing immigration laws. There's no immigration reform needed. What we need is enforcement of our laws. The same way we just need enforcement of our gun laws.
To be honest with you, I honestly,
one at a time. One at a time. Finish up with the gun law, Kevin.
I just want to finish with this. Barack Obama
Bridget respond. Yeah.
Takes his own personal agenda, and he decides what's right and what's wrong for America: guns, immigration, voter ID, you name it, and he decides unilaterally that he's going to make the laws. And you know what he does? He essentially thwarts the people who have their representatives, and he doesn't care about that branch of government. The executive branch trumps any branch of government as far as he's concerned.
You know, I gotta say, as a progressive, I wish that were true. I wish we had this president who was hammering down on his agenda and getting things passed tooth and nail, you know, just on his own. If that were true, I'd be, you know, in the streets celebrating. But the fact is, that's not the case. I wish that were true. I wish that we had this sweeping regulation of gun reform and immigration reform and healthcare reform. But the fact of the matter is, we don't have it. I wish we had it, but we don't.
By the way, the latest Fox poll out today shows 58 to 37% voters think that President Obama exceeded his authority under the Constitution when he unilaterally changed the health care law by executive order. So, you know, it seems that the people, they don't want impeachment, but they favor the lawsuit and believe that he did abuse his authority. Let me ask you guys this. I'm curious, and I'll start with you, Bridget. Democratic Senator from Montana, John Walsh, he wrote a thesis. It was written to earn his master's degree from the U.S. Army War College, and it has unattributed passages contained, taken word for word from previously published papers. And basically, he admits this from the way I read it, and he cites PTSD as his apparent reason for plagiarism. I've never heard that before in my life.
I mean, listen, I'm not a mental health professional. I don't know if this is a credible explanation for what happened. I will say that as someone who has been in the academic circle, worked in academia, there's no excuse for plagiarism. And if he has a legitimate medical reason that explains this, fine. But I gotta say, I've been in graduate school. I've taught at the university level for a while. If a student gave me that excuse, I would have a lot of follow-up questions.
All right, so I guess I don't know, Kevin. Is she saying that he should be thrown out of the Senate?
No, this is what I love about progressives, aka liberals, whatever they call themselves. Look, he lied, and same as Elizabeth Warren, who got ahead because she claims she's an Indian. Joe Biden plagiarized half of his stuff. That's what liberals do. Just call it what it is. He's a cheater, and you know what? He should be.
All right, guys, stay where you are. Stay where you are. Bridget Todd and Kevin Jackson will come back with part 2 because part 1 was so brilliantly executed. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back with more of the Malzberg panel. Easy for me to say, but first, stay tuned for your Newsmax Now update coming up.